Hey everybody, I'm Dominique.
Let's talk about love, baby. Deitrick, what's up, y'all?
And this is Real Talk About Love with Deitrick and Dominique.
Yep. What we talking about today?
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We didn't expect to get this much.
She made this before she came on TV.
No, it's good. It's
What's
fruit.
in here?
It's beets and
See, that right there messed everything up because it
beets and
overrides
carrots
all the other flavors. Beets override.
But it's
orange,
like
what else?
sweet. It's
Carrot?
orange and I think it's an ABC drink. So it's beets, carrots, and apples.
Yeah, but the beet is just too overpowering.
It's good, but I think I put 2 beets in there, so that's
Two.
You juiced it, it makes it good.
Right.
Okay, so our like I was saying, thank you guys for tuning in. I get a lot of feedback on Instagram with people saying, "When you gonna put the next video up?" We took 2 weeks
that
off.
Big jump on them comments, man.
Say
it to my face.
Okay, we took 2 weeks off. It was Mother's Day, and then it was his birthday. So we're back this week.
Birthday.
And and we've got a lot of questions that I want to address before we go into our topic.
Y'all be coming hard with them questions.
Our first question, and if you submit a question, it is always anonymous. I will never give your identity up because this is personal, and somebody may watch it and I say your name, and then now it's an issue. But always, we are not marriage counselors or marriage
and we ain't trying to tell you
gurus
what to do
or nothing like that. This is just
Do
our
your thing.
opinion. These are just our thoughts, and we speak from experience. And then we try to use the word of God. No, I'm gonna say try, but we use the word of God to guide us through our conversation. So
Amen.
Take heed to that. Just be mindful of those things. If you want our opinion about your relationship, we're willing to give it to you.
Jesus.
It
Come
is
on with the
not that
question.
bad.
Choking me.
Well, let me have it.
Give me some water, Jesus, before we get started.
When you don't know better, you from Detroit.
I tried to man up.
All y'all drink is Faygo Pop.
What I would do for a good old grape Faygo soda. Can y'all send me one?
You live in California now. You got to do different things.
Oh, man.
Okay, so our first question is it was a whole long thing, but to keep it short, how to deal with resentment in relationship. That's our first question that a viewer or subscriber have submitted. How to deal with resentment in relationship.
Well, that's a big question. It's according to, first of all, we got to deal with what happened, because there's some things that can happen in a relationship that will cause a deep level of resentment that you can't just go past it over a few days. I mean, it takes sometimes years to get over some things that somebody's done to you, especially if you love them deeply and you've been hurt deeply from somebody you love. So I guess it's according to whatever you've been, whatever happened to you, because that's trauma. You know what I'm saying? It's like getting hit. You know what I'm saying? Where you almost lost your life and now you're still alive and you're recovering. It took a while to recover from it. And now that you recover from it, every time you think about certain things, that thing come up before you. The feeling, the moment you felt like you was going to lose your life or lose everything, it keeps coming up. So that's where resentment comes from. Like, why would you even put me through that when you know how much I love you?
Right.
And if I told you I love you, why would, and you know that's my issue that I can't handle when something like that happens to me. Why would you do that?
Right.
And so that's the first level of it. Then I would say when people, here it is, I feel like when people can't get over a level of resentment against somebody, there's an element of, I know it's gonna be tough to hear this, but
what you gonna say?
Self-righteousness, like you hold them to a standard that you can't even hold up for yourself. Watch this. Well, listen, when you know how much you need mercy and grace, right?
Okay.
You should extend that same mercy and grace to others. right?
Yes.
And when you can't extend that mercy and grace to others is because you feel like you're perfect or you're on a certain level. You're on a pedestal yourself. Yes. Whenever somebody can't get rid of some resentment like that, you're saying that I can never do anybody like that. When you don't know what you could do until you're faced with the same issue.
Well, I think for resentment in a relationship, because I've been where I resented somebody I was in a relationship with, I think you definitely have to talk about it. You have to tell them about like how you're feeling. And if they did something to you, and I think resentment comes after somebody's done the same thing to you over and over again, and you kind of you forgive them, and then you're like, okay, I'm being taken for granted. My love is being taken for granted. It's being misused and taken advantage of. And now you resent that person, or you gave up something, and that person, you found out that person wouldn't give up that same thing for you. So say, for instance, for the sake of a conversation, that person tell you, okay, don't talk to men, yet they can't not talk to, they're still continuing to talk to women. And you're like, okay, well, if I ask you that, or that makes me uncomfortable, now it's like, it's a double standard. You can talk to women, but I can't talk to men because you're uncomfortable with men. But I may be uncomfortable with you talking to women, or even if I'm not, there's a form of like, there's a double standard. So people like, I don't know, dog. Like, it's not, you know what I'm saying? That's how, for me, I would view it like, okay, I resent you for taking this from me, yet you mishandled me in the process of all of that.
When grace and mercy is in the play, in play rather, it's hard to resent somebody forever. You may have a moment of resentment when you think about how much grace. I don't think it's forever. But how much mercy and grace do I give an individual? If they mishandle me, forgive 70 times 7.
When I get to that point, then I'm gone. How about that?
I'm praying for you.
Pray for my mind. Pray for my heart.
I think on both levels, it's right. It's correct. Okay. On your level, what you're saying, what I'm saying is right.
Oh, I'm not. It's not right and wrong. I'm just saying for the individual with
it's according to the situation.
Yes, but
that's the bottom line.
But I think the way, because you got to give them a solution, you have to communicate always and tell them, you know what, I don't like the fact that I had to. I'm just using an example. Had to give up talking to men to make you comfortable, but you wouldn't give up something for me that made me uncomfortable. And I think if we're going to be in a relationship with each other, we got to compromise in some way. We don't have to, right, lose who we are to be in a relationship. But if it
reason together.
Yeah, so.
Communicate.
Yes, you got to.
And once you get the solution between the two,
make sure you
move beyond your resentment.
Move beyond that, but make sure that your partner, hold them accountable and say, we're not doing this. Remember, this is what we said on this day, May 24th, 2020.
Exactly.
This is what we
do. But most women have a problem with moving on.
Men do too. So I don't know what you're talking about. Let's let a woman cheat on you. See what happened. Y'all can't move on. Yet they be in your mind.
If you decide to stay in the relationship,
I can't believe you know what I'm saying?
If you decide to stay in the relationship with each other, don't torment each other. That's the word. Don't torment each other. Right. Move on down the road. Ease on down the road. All right?
Ease on down.
And keep it moving. Don't make the relationship unpleasant from that point on. Otherwise, let it go. Amen. Because nobody deserves to be tormented from their past for the rest of their lives.
You meant that thing.
I'm in Hill City Church right now.
Okay, I hope we answered your question. Question number 2. We got one more after this.
That thing just hit me.
I'm in a similar situation like yours. Met my current boyfriend when we were both going through a divorce. I've never been divorced, so I don't know what you're talking about. Question for you all. After 2 years of him being divorced, I still have not met his kids. And every time I ask, he says...
Hold on, back up. They're married?
No, they're not. They were both divorcing their spouses. Mm-hmm. They met. Mm-hmm. And 2 years for them being together, she's never met the man's children. Okay. And he says he don't think the younger son, age 13, is emotionally ready. Mm-hmm. I don't want to continue being a pest about it. Okay, so it's typo. I need your advice.
Don't be a pest about it. You got your own answer.
Okay, no.
But I'll
Why?
also.
Why would no? We got to let's go on back down here. Why would you not get to meet his kid if y'all been together for 2 years?
Yeah, that's strange right there.
That mean you ain't the only one, maybe.
You ain't the only one, or you're not good enough, and he got you for what he needs you for. Something ain't right with that. When you've been 2 years, that's a long time for you not to meet his kids.
And you hanging out.
See, when you meet his kids, that means something's, he's thinking on the next level.
Serious, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until then, he's protecting his kids from just the random relationships. That's a hard thing to hear, I know, but.
Yes, I saw a quote on Facebook, and it was and somebody said, if you are clear, if you know exactly, like if that person is telling you exactly what's going on, you know where you are, the status in your relationship. If you are confused, you ain't in a relationship. So whatever it is, if you stand in confusion,
you in a situationship.
You ain't in one. So I think for you. Always communicate and say, why haven't I met your child or your children? What's the, I know you don't want to be a pest about it, but if he's not willing to introduce you to his kids after 2 years, I wouldn't think it's a serious relationship. I would explore my options.
That's a sign, and don't ignore the signs.
Right. I hope that helped. That's my advice. You can pray about it and seek the Lord about it, but I would explore my options. Praise God.
Keep it moving.
You're not married. Y'all not engaged.
There's
y'all
too many
dating.
fish in the sea.
Find you somebody
Ain't no
that
ring on the finger yet. Go on.
Maybe don't have children, or maybe they like you more than that, and they want you to meet their child. So
right, there is somebody that will love you and appreciate you enough to introduce you to the children after 2 years.
Know your worth. That's it. Okay. Somebody said, this is our third question. Hello, First Lady. I saw you and Pastor's show on YouTube about leaving and cleaving. I've been married to my wonderful husband for 17 and a half years. My mother-in-law was so mean, so she cursed me out. She wished death on our kids, but I never said one mean thing back. First of all,
that's the wicked witch of the what? On the East Coast or West Coast?
I don't know.
East or West?
First of all, I wasn't raised like that. I was raised in church. My mother is a prayer warrior, and my mother-in-law knew I wouldn't go off on her, but my husband stepped up and told her to leave me and him alone if she couldn't respect us as being one. The sad part is she died, and I feel like my husband has some underlying regrets. Has some underlying regrets about all of this and at me. If you and Pastor have any words to help me, I would really like y'all feedback.
What I do know is wishing death on your grandkids is of the devil. That's what I do know. That is not of God. That right there. So that's the one piece I do know. I don't know a lot that's going on, but when I heard that, no grandmother or grandfather should ever wish death on their own family. That is Satan himself using them. All right? So
I want to say I'm sorry that your husband lost his mother. However, he can't resent you, or he can't really feel some type of way. I mean, he can. I don't want to say what he can't do, but it was his choice to stand up for you. And he did the right thing, even against his mother. And God will be pleased with that.
Yes.
I think in your relationship, you should comfort him and let him know, like, you appreciate everything he did for you in that matter. And just let him know that it wasn't done in vain, even though she passed and y'all probably didn't patch things up the way you may have wanted to. But you just appreciate him doing that, and he's an awesome husband. Just lift him up and make him feel good about the decision he made, which is a good decision, I think.
I'm sure his mother came to whatever conclusion for whatever reason that's not disclosed in this letter.
Right.
So just let him know that, nobody's perfect, and so you're not holding that against his mother. Let him know that you love him, because he loves his mother.
Right.
Whether she was evil or not.
That's his mama.
That's his evil mama. And so to letting him know that you love him by saying, hey, I forgive your mother and I love you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just keep all the love flowing, and I believe everything will be okay. It won't be perfect, but it's okay.
Right. So we appreciate the questions. And our topic for today
Come on.
is marriage and parenting.
I was excited to hear about parenting. Jesus
And
Christ.
I really think that people don't really think about this, but for me, it kind of altered the way that I look at my husband.
Huh?
Because our parenting styles are different, and the way that we are raised are, to me, are not the same.
You want to raise our kids like a Caucasian
We gonna
mother.
get no.
Time out. You go to the wall and get a
That's
time
a lie.
out.
Don't lie, because you know I don't do no time out.
Why are you
I got a
crying,
black.
Destin? Why are you crying?
It's health. I'm raising healthy children.
like, listen.
We are both of us.
You better snap.
Listen, let me tell you something.
You need to raise your kids like your mama raised you. Faye
And that's
raised
why we
you.
got issues now.
What? She did a mighty good job.
She did no. There's a lot
I
of
bet you
great
can
things.
cook.
Hold
I
on,
bet you can-
it's a lot of great things she did, but there are some things she could have done better.
Nobody's perfect, and I think that's the theme of this show.
No, it's
Hold
not
on,
about
that's
nobody. No, it's not about perfection. It's not about perfection. I'm just telling you, because at certain
No, she couldn't have done it better. She done it just the way God had her to do it, and look at you now, amazing, incredible. You look good, you smell good, you cook good, you do everything good, you talk good, you keep your family intact, you keep your husband intact. That means your mama did a good job.
Listen, let me tell you something. I have the world in my mindset, the world's greatest mother. But there are some things based on, he met my mama when she's being sweet as pie.
When they get older, they get sweeter, don't they?
Listen, because my mom would smack the dog, you know what, out of me.
Listen.
In public, in front of family. She didn't care.
She taught us to fear God and her.
Yes, but I want to say, the scripture is that I have is, I have two of them because I wanted to use scripture because somebody on here told me I don't use scripture to back up what I'm saying. And know that I speak in the essence of the scripture. I don't quote
We're living
the scripture.
epistles. We're walking out the scripture. So if you don't quote it,
if I don't
as long
quote
as you
it,
live in according to the scripture.
So
but
the
give us
scripture
word
said,
just for them.
it says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Then the other one is, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord. Ephesians 6:4, and that's New Living Translation. And from those scriptures, you talking about I raise my kids like the Caucasians. What I don't, but I am by trade, I'm an educator. And there are certain classes that I've taken in child psychology where it teaches you how to treat children. Now, my mom would always say, you can't, them black kids, and I was like, yes, mother. At the same time, they have to live in a world outside of just black culture.
And
they have to be healthy individuals. They have to be able to express themselves. I mean, my kids do a lot of crying all day long. And for me, as a mother, I want to know what's wrong with you. I don't care about you crying, because what is that going to change?
I'm going to tell you to stop crying.
I'm going
to see what you're crying about. That's number one. Once we get an understanding of what you're crying about, if it's
Deitrick,
not significant,
Deitrick, you don't care.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to make a request. After my third request, I'm going to shut you down.
No,
shut
up.
Please stop crying.
That's lies.
Enough. That sound is now piercing through my soul.
No.
And it's keeping me from studying and everything.
All
then
lies.
the third time,
don't.
Sit your butt down and shut your mouth because you're crying over that. That's the way we were raised, and that's how we are who we are today.
And that's
Strong,
why you have toxic
human
individuals.
beings. No, we're not toxic.
Yes, let me tell you something. Black people.
See, what's wrong? See, when you veer away from the rule book.
What rule book?
It's an undisclosed rule book that's in the hearts of the culture of the people. That's been translated down through our mothers and fathers. And in our culture, you have to deal with us in a very stern manner. I'm talking about us, black people. Because we're very strong people by nature. So we're strong-headed, we're strong-willed, and that's our blessing. I mean, it made us excel here in America. Well, we shouldn't have excelled, being strong-willed. But that's in your child. I know what's in my child. That's when I look at little Deitrick, that's me all over again. When I look at Denver, that's me all over again. That's me all over again. So I already know.
So they ain't got none of me in them. It's just all you.
Okay. I'm just you too. Okay, what I'm saying is, don't get all.
I mean, come on now.
First
off, I'm gonna tell you.
They look like me. All of them.
That's absolutely fine.
Now, all right, now.
All the good traits come from me. Just remember that.
The crying. Here we go. Now, here we go.
I know you ain't talking. You cry every day.
When I'm in the presence of the Lord.
I said, now what you crying about now?
Why are you gonna make fun of my relationship with God?
No,
Don't do that.
I'm just saying this.
Don't do that. I'm
You be
a
sitting
sensitive
there-
man in the presence of
Okay,
you. Want
so
a
you talking about
sensitive
somebody
man.
crying?
Didn't Ralph Transvant say you need a man with sensitivity?
Yeah, but you cry too much. You gotta get it together.
Oh man, you can't control that when you're in the presence of the Lord.
It ain't even in the presence of the Lord. You be sitting there and be thinking, and
What
that
I
thing will
think-
hit you. Ooh.
Hey, let me tell you something. It
You be
does.
howling at the moon.
Your show is over. Your show is over. She is saying whatever comes to her mind.
It is.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me gather my thoughts.
Gather yourself. Let me
'Cause
say
you
this.
just crazy.
No, let me say this.
Howling at the moon.
You be howling. Let me say this.
At least I don't destroy everything when I decide to shout. You destroy everything in sight. Chairs turning over everything.
Deitrick, no.
Go ahead.
I'm going in my space. I'm trained, okay?
No.
Just move out my way.
control.
Just give me an open space. I'm right there. Just move out the way. Now, let me say this. With parenting, I think between us, our styles are different. They're the same in some areas, but they're different. And sometimes it brings a clash in our relationship. I feel because he was raised a certain way. I was raised in a single.
I was raised the black way.
No, I was raised. What are you talking about? I was raised in a single parent home with a disciplinarian mother, authoritative mother, a stern mother.
So why are you trying to deviate from that?
No. Listen, no, I don't deviate from it. I take what I think was good out of that, and I apply the things that I've learned in college about children because I am an educator and how the child mind works. And there's certain things you can that to get certain results you have to do certain things. For instance, when my mom whooped me, I didn't know why I was getting a whooping. Eventually. But why they whoop you? Didn't I tell you not to? But I'm like, okay, what happened? Yeah, so I was like, okay, I gotta find out why I'm getting a whooping, why I'm getting a whooping. And then there's some reasons, like I remember my uncle, he would whoop everybody, and we'd be like, okay, why are we all getting a whooping? I'm coming over to spend the night. Now I'm in trouble because your kid's in trouble.
Right.
I'm
I used to hate to stay over my cousin's house.
we getting the whooping now.
Because
So
they do something, we all get it.
I was like, I'm going to call mama, come get me, girl. But in my household, my mom was everything was a whooping. It wasn't like a conversation. I think I got put on punishment one time.
Okay.
And my mom did not, hold on. My mom did not, she didn't like that. That was too easy for her. I was like, okay, I can be outside. And no, she's like, no, you about to get this whooping. I got whooped with a shoe, extension cord.
That's a pop.
No, a shoe, extension cord. You remember how those
I don't know
balls?
about the extension cord.
Listen, balls with the paddle with the ball on there. I got one of those.
Oh, that didn't hurt.
Yes, it did. I got whooped with a weight belt. You put around your thing.
That didn't hurt either. That's too big to hurt. That whole thing that ain't doing nothing.
My mom was heavy-handed and she was strong. And I remember my mom, like we would try to chase my mom would be over there and I don't know, she'd get the strength and she would leap over that table and she would get me.
You.
And I'd be sitting there like, I don't understand why I'm getting a whooping. And I would think like sometimes you would want your mother, for me, I want her to like talk to me like, why are you acting out?
Yeah, it needs to be
why
awesome.
why whoop me when you should be talking? And that's where I want to raise my kids where I'm talking to them like, why are you making that decision? Like now I got, you about to get the business. Why you hit him? If Denver hitting them, I said, now why you hit him? I don't know. No, that's not good enough. Now you need a whooping.
Yeah, that was like borderline abuse that our parents was doing. I gotta agree with you a little bit on that. However,
It's excessive.
yeah, it was right there on the edge, just a little bit more.
It was almost slave plantation. You know what I'm saying? That was too close to that.
Taking out your frustration on your kids, you can't do
Yes. So that's what I think my mom let loose a lot because she was frustrated. She's a single mother. It's a lot of responsibility. You got 3 kids you got to feed. They get on your
y'all
nerves.
doing too much. And she by herself trying to feed
we were-
y'all and clothe y'all
But
and
let me tell you,
keep
but
shelter over your head.
we were latchkey kids, so I had a key to my house at 8. I was walking
Oh, that's
home.
a recipe for disaster.
No, I was good. I was walking home. You know, you walk home with your friends. We lived in an apartment, big old apartment building. They used to call it the Doty Projects. But we lived in this big old apartment complex. It was almost whatever. And we all walk home together, key and stuff like that. When we lived in another place, my brother had a key. We all walked home together. So there was never an adult home until like 6 o'clock. You have to call.
Oh my God.
You have to call. I made it home. Can I have cereal? Can I have juice? Every time. Call. Yes, yes, yes.
It's a miracle you survived that.
I'm a latchkey kid, so I was, for me, you grown up before you grown up.
I got a solution. Let's say, let's now don't completely take out the whoopings, right?
Okay.
But before you ever lay a hand on your child, they need to know why they're getting in trouble.
Right.
Okay, so, and we know not to hit your kids with anything that will destroy their bodies and have them dismantled. Don't ever do
Right.
nothing like that. That's abuse to me. So I agree. That's kind of like my household a little bit with Bishop Haddon. He was rough on us. Yeah, so just use wisdom, but don't completely extract discipline in your kids, because the scripture does say if you spare the rod, you will spoil the child. And that's what I see in other cultures. A lot of spoiled kids that turn around and kill their own parents because they were not disciplined, and they were put on timeouts but were able to play video games and stuff all day and all night. And then when you try to take the video game from them, they want to kill you. Y'all know that stuff that's going on out there. That's not supposed to be in a black household.
It shouldn't be in any household.
Oh, it better not be in your household, because that's a no-no. You hear me?
Right. Tell us about your upbringing. How was were you whooped all the time? Was there any conversations had? Were there any justifications for why you was getting a whooping?
I didn't really get as many whoopings as Gerald.
Oh, okay.
I got enough, though. I got enough. But let me tell you something. I really think if you just give your child the one big one, right? The one that they will remember for the rest of their lives, you got them covered. You got your whoopings covered. Just every child should have the one where they cross the line and you let them know you have officially woke up the beast in the house, and you're like, ah! That's the one that every child should have.
I don't think
And
I
then
had
once
one.
you-
I was still bad. Still got a whooping.
Well, see, that's because you're hard-headed. You just doing your thing. But for me, you only got to tell me once. You ain't got to tell me twice. You know what I'm saying? When that Bishop Haddon came and he gave me one big one, I'll never forget. And I always when I get in trouble, I always go back to that one and say, oh, Lord, I don't want to wake up that beast. So please forgive me. I bow out gracefully. So I think that's the key. You don't have to be whooping on your kids. No, not at all. I really don't believe in that. That you just keep doing that, especially without them knowing why they're getting in trouble. I think if you whoop your kids or discipline your kids, it should be for a really serious reason,
Right.
and they know exactly what they have done to deserve that. And like I said, if you give them the big one,
Right.
big one, all right, that they can always remember that you can go there, I think you got it covered.
Okay, so with that being said, how did your parents interact, or how did they navigate giving out whoopings, and did your parents ever get into it as far as disciplining you guys?
Oh, absolutely. We got whoopings all day, every day. I mean, we
I'm talking about how did your parents navigate? Like, say for instance, if your mom felt like your dad was whooping you too much, did she intervene?
She said, Clarence, that's enough, Clarence. Clarence, that's enough. You're whooping him too hard. Don't hit him there. Come here, Clarence, that's it. That's what my mother did all the time. She interceded on our behalf. But when she got loose on us, it was worse than Clarence. So you don't want to whoop him by either one of them. When we were younger, you didn't want neither one of them to wake up the beast. But no, my dad, he just didn't know when to stop. And my mother had to say, okay, that's it. They got it. I'll be like, thank you, Jesus, and thank you, Mama.
Okay, so like I was saying at the beginning, I feel like when you get married and you have children, it changes the dynamic of your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in our relationship, our dynamic changed once we had, I don't want to say the first one, we were trying to work through it, but I started to look at you differently. Like, okay, now he's a father. I now have to operate as him being not just my man, but now
And
he's the
lover
father.
and friend.
He's the father of my child. So, or our child. So now there's it's like a shift. So now it's a different partnership. Now it's parenting. It's not just us now loving each other. Now it's us loving this child.
Yes.
Then it's us loving these
And
children.
that child growing
and
up
then
to be whatever they're going
whatever
to be
it is.
as a result of our leadership.
So many times we don't agree when it comes to parenting.
It's okay when you don't agree. You just submit to your husband, and that's it. All is well. Fantastic.
Anyway, in a
Submit to the leader of the house.
Okay. And no, because sometimes I don't agree. I feel like when you're parenting your kids, it's a team effort, right?
Right.
And everything should happen as a team. Everything should happen as a team. It's
Right.
not just this responsibility belongs to
But
this
what happens
one,
when you
and
don't
this.
agree on the same thing?
I think you let it go
What do you mean let it go?
until you got to table it and come and go talk about it.
We let it go until you submit. No,
Why is it always
no.
me
No,
submitting?
watch
When
this,
do
watch
you
this,
submit
watch this,
to?
watch this. You should let it go until one of you guys submit to each other's.
Compromise, I say.
Yes, just submit. Somebody.
I think submitting-
marriage is a series of compromises and agreements, right? That's what it
Right.
is. So
Yeah.
if we both can't agree on the same thing, somebody got to back up and say, okay, I'll let you have this one. So if I let you have this one, right, you got to let me have the other one.
No,
That's
I don't
a team.
No, I don't think.
What do you mean no?
I don't think it should be. This is my turn and that turn. I think it's something we should do. The same thing, whatever it is, we should come together, and this is what we do all the time.
No, I'm talking about if you don't agree on the same thing. If you have an issue.
Give me an example so you make it clear.
I don't
Write
think-
the vision, make it plain, Pastor Deitrick.
Listen, if you think the kids should have Fruit Loops, and I think the kids should have Wheaties. And
Well,
then we
that's
fuss.
petty. No, give me
I'm giving you an example.
Let's
I'm just
use
saying it's
a
the
real
same
example.
thing.
Let's do a real example.
It's the same thing.
Real example.
And y'all both butting heads over that decision. You said let it go. Okay, you let it go until somebody say have enough sense to say it's no big deal. It's cereal either way, and it's breakfast either way. So I'm going to be the one to let's go ahead and you let them eat Fruit Loops. Okay, no problem. But remember, I compromised on this one. On the next one.
This is I'm gonna give y'all a real argument. I'm gonna give y'all a real argument we have every night, which is our kids and their tablets at night or the TV. Deitrick hates it. He hates noise when he goes to sleep. I was raised and light and all that stuff. I was raised. I have to go to the way my mama raised me is she needed noise to go to sleep. Therefore, that's what we did. We need noise. I can't sleep in complete silence.
That's a dysfunction.
No, because then I'd be like, you heard that? Did you hear it? You'd be in there like, you crazy? But I'm, because certain things, like if it's completely quiet, and say for instance, nothing going on, I'm going to hear if the door crack open, I'm going to hear that, and I'm up.
Well, you want to hear that, right? If the door crack open.
No, I don't want to hear nothing. If my demise is happening, I want to be asleep. But what I'm saying is we don't agree on how to turn the TV off or let the kids watch the tablet or whatever it is, especially if he's tired. Right. It's more so like turn it off.
Right. This is what you're talking is normal, right? When that's normal for me, you know what I'm saying? That's dysfunctional for you. People having lights on all night and noise all night. That's out of order. You dealt with light and noise all throughout the day. Now, these 8 hours belongs to your body, to your rest, to your sleep, to quiet. That's why the Lord decided to make it dark at night and light at day. It's over. That means at nighttime, when the sun goes down, it is over. No more noise, no more tablets, no more TV shows, no more movies. And that's why your kids cannot sleep. They're in the middle of the night talking about, I can't sleep. You know why? Because the TV, all the images are constantly going. And when they wake up, that's what they see. And no, when they wake up, they need to go right back to sleep. Oh, I'm scared. That means you go back to sleep until the fear goes and passes by. It's over.
Okay, so where are you going?
I'm walking off the set of your show.
Come sit down. What I'm saying is that, like, those moments like that,
Right.
our parenting styles or our styles as individuals clash. Therefore, it turns into my way or his way, and there's no compromise.
No,
Deitrick
no.
want the no.
No, don't
Deitrick-
say it. There's no compromise because there's
no.
Deitrick who has the TV on when it's all said and done?
I turn on when we go to sleep.
Okay, who keeps the music going when it's all said and done?
First of all, I
So
turn
guess
on.
who wins
I turn
that?
on,
Who wins
I
that
turn
every
on,
night?
Listen, I need noise. I don't care what Deitrick said. I need noise.
No compromise.
No. For me, I have anxiety, so sometimes I put on relaxed music to relax me, and it actually puts the kids to sleep. It soothes them. I put it on, they be. I said, listen, we're going to bed. So you can start off a certain way, and to me, that's a compromise. Just let the kids go to sleep the way they need to go to sleep. I feel like our parenting styles, when it comes to that, okay, that might not be, but you talk about the Wheaties and the cereal thing. I don't think there's a
Fruit Loops and
compromise.
Wheaties.
I don't think that's a compromise situation. It's like, okay, for me, I'm gonna ask kids what you want to eat. He don't like that.
Ooh.
Stop
right there. Focus on that right there.
He don't
when
like
I was
that.
coming up, you didn't have a choice on what you wanted to eat. If we were going to McDonald's, you're gonna order from the McDonald's menu. If you're going to Denny's, you order from the Denny's menu. If you're going to IHOP, you order from the IHOP menu. Whatever my parents pull up, and that's what we eating today. My kid's crazy enough to say, I don't want to eat that. I want to. What?
To me, see, okay, this is where my degree comes in and kicks in. You rather your kids eat than not eat. That's my mindset. If they want McDonald's and you want,
They're gonna eat if you say, listen, if that's their only choice, they're gonna find something on the menu to eat. Then we don't have to go to 3 different places to feed our kids.
no. But if like for instance, Destin doesn't like chicken.
That's her problem. Find some turkey on the menu.
But you go to Chick-fil-A and there's only chicken on the menu. So then you're trying to figure out, okay, now you got a hungry kid and they over there crying. You just like, no, look.
Get a salad.
But to me, it's like, I'd rather my kids eat than to be
They're
like.
gonna eat. Your kids are going to eat. They're going to eat.
And then they're in a stage where they're picky eaters.
You can't be a picky eater. If you're gonna be a picky eater, you're gonna pick from the menu that we're at the restaurant that we're at the time.
When we go
That's spoiled privilege stuff, and that's what I'm afraid of with my kids because they got that little thing on them. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't made not one dime. Okay, it's all my money. So no, that privilege, that stuff. That's how we're gonna help our kids for the future, prepare them for the future. They can't be handed everything. It can't be their way all the time on the highway. They can't cry about it. And that's what. Don't let them do it, y'all. I don't care what first lady say. Don't let your wife. I don't care what your wife say. Men, stand with me. Don't let them do it. Take control of your family.
Anyway, Deitrick.
Because in life it ain't like that. In life you can't just get whatever you want.
No.
Listen, you got to deal with what's in front of you.
No, I didn't say in life. I'm saying, but there's in certain situations, there are times where you are allotted an opportunity to choose. And when you are able to choose, you can choose for yourself what you really want.
That's every day for our kids.
I ask my kids, what do you want to eat? Because the goal is for them to eat. I don't have to force my kids to eat.
That's a no-no. When we was coming up, what my mother put on the table, we come and ask her what we eating today. She said liver. That's what you're eating today. And we got to deal with it.
No, my mama gave me options. She said you can eat what I cook, or you can make your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's
your only option.
But I'm gonna choose if it's something I don't want to eat. I'm gonna choose the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So to me, I was given choices, options, on what I wanted to eat.
Yeah, we were given options, but it was what was she was presenting on that table.
But if it's liver and I don't want to eat liver, I'm not eating
No,
it.
she didn't really force us to eat liver, but
I'm just
that
saying,
means
I'm
you
saying-
keep that off the plate. You just eat the rice and the corn and the spinach, whatever that is.
No.
That's
My
a
mom,
black meal.
let me tell
Liver,
you.
rice, and corn.
My mom, but this, let me tell you something. My mom would make food.
All stuff the kids hate.
My mom would make food that she knew that we liked, so that we would eat. She just didn't make random stuff and say this is what we eat.
See, you didn't come up in the struggle. We came up in the struggle. We ate pork and beans, okay? What you know about pork and beans? Nothing. You a California girl. We came up in the struggle. I'm from Detroit.
People
in
in
the hood.
California don't eat that way.
I'm talking about you, privileged, high uppity. That's you, highfalutin. I'm
No.
from Detroit. You make do with what you got to do. You eat what your mother put on the table. You working with your father's and mother's budget. You don't go beyond that, and you dare not even try to talk about something. I don't want that. You gonna get your teeth knocked out.
Well, I would tell Mom I don't want to eat that.
What?
Yes.
You got away with.
No. Listen,
I'm done. Today's show is now brought to you by Brother Haddon's. I'm so done with this show.
No.
Today.
Anyway.
As of today.
No, Deitrick, you're not.
Because I don't want y'all to walk away thinking that the way she was raised is right.
No, I didn't say. Did I say the way that I was raised was right? I'm just giving you my perspective. This is the way that I was raised. So there's certain things. Yes, I got a whooping. Yes, I will get in trouble for certain things. But there's certain things that I feel like I needed from my parent that I didn't get. And
Okay.
I feel like I want to give those things to my children.
That's fine.
But then, when you marry somebody, you have to consider the way that they were raised and how and what options they were given in life. And then you try to gel those things together. And then there's a clash in the relationship. Then you now mad at your spouse because of how they treating the kids. Because you don't agree with it. And now y'all are at odds. Y'all having difficulties in your relationship because y'all can't get on one accord when it comes to that. And I don't think it's always about submitting to the head of the household. I think it's about sitting at the table and saying, listen, Deitrick, on this matter, let's figure out the best option for everybody. Kids, me and you too.
I agree. And I don't think it has to be my way or the highway. I do
That's the
believe
way you presented it.
I'm enjoying myself. There's an element of truth in what I'm saying, but the submissiveness and should go both ways. It should be from the husband as well as from the wife. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. Amen. Say that again so I can keep
I'll say
put that
it.
on record.
I said it.
One more time.
It's what goes on in this house every doggone day. From the TV on at night to what the kids got to eat every day. It's their way. And listen, the things
We asked you what you want to
the
eat.
things that I don't have to fight over, I choose my battles wisely.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't make a big fuss over everything. And men, I recommend that you don't do that. Let the woman be the woman of the household. Let her be the queen of the household. Let her do what she got to do. Just come on in when you feel like you got to come in and override the
How about
system.
you be there the whole
hold on.
time?
No, be there the whole time.
Be involved the whole time. Don't just come in when you feel like dip in there and then try to.
Listen. That's
I
not
don't
what I'm
hold my
saying.
hands.
That's
Don't
not what I'm
hold my
saying.
hands.
That's not what I'm
They want to get
saying.
me together. They get me creep. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
You made me lose my thought.
Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
I'm telling the men, be present, but let her handle this. Let her create a system in the house for the kids that's conducive for the success of your kids. And then when you feel like you need something need to be overridden, you just come on and say, no, I think we need to do it this way.
That's you gentle like that?
You see me?
Oh, so gracious.
That's what I do. I stay out of it. I stay out of it until it gets on. I say, you know what? No, we're not doing it this way today. No, I just say, and hopefully you can learn from this today. We're gonna move.
We go right back on the plan.
Exactly. So to keep peace in your house, keep the joy in your house, keep the love, keep the peace.
Let me say
but
this.
some of y'all women need to come on down off your high horse.
No.
Submit to your husband and let him be the leader.
Let me say this. I don't
heard me.
I don't think it has nothing to do with leadership. I think it has more to do so with participation.
Let him participate. That's good too.
Participation. You can't just come in there and parent. You have to be there and parent 24/7 because that's how you.
It's hard when you're always being overridden by your wife, or she always kicking back. So most men, they don't get off into no little cat fights. That's women. Yeah.
What cat fights?
Listen, I'm telling you how y'all are. Cat fights. I'm a dog. I don't get into a cat fight.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. But you making me get into a cat fight, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? You can have it, but I'm telling you, as a dog, I don't like it. As the alpha in this house, I don't like it. So in order to keep peace, we keep on moving. And we don't, watch this, whatever the situation is, you don't let that consume the rest of your life. That was a moment in time in the day. Now you got 24 hours of no kissing, no loving, no nothing, because you still stuck on what happened earlier today. Get over that.
I sure am.
And then I know you ain't crazy enough to carry it over to day 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Are you crazy?
No, I don't do that, man.
It's women out there. Oh, I'm on your case, the Holy Ghost, and then now you done woke up the Holy Ghost.
Now it's the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, now you done got me all in, because I go right on up in there. Somebody's doing that. Don't do that. Deal with it, let it go. Listen, deal with it, let it go.
Give a few hours of silent treatment.
Yeah, then let it go. Okay?
But I think overall,
don't be holding up other things from it because of that. Because things ain't going the way you want it to be.
I think.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I think, no, don't, yes. But I think as well that, like I said, the participation is very important. And I think if everybody participate in the raising of the children and giving them structure that they need, it'll make a better relationship, a better marriage. You'll have less moments where you guys are bumping heads because you guys have already talked about it. You spoke about it. You agree, you disagree, you compromise, whatever that is. And then for me, like I said in the beginning, once we had our children, I lost my thought for a second. Once we had our children, I looked at him differently. And sometimes I will be upset with him because I didn't like the fact that, or the way that he parented. I'm just like, now who raised you? I would say, who raised your wolves? Because I don't know about that one, There'd be a lot of. I'm sitting there like.
I'm a Detroit
I'm sitting there like,
man.
What in the
Listen,
world?
I'm Negro to the bone. All this stuff, y'all see, you out here in La La Land living. See,
I had a Southern mother.
That's why I
what
like
are you
to take
talking
y'all
about?
back to Detroit. That's why I like to take y'all back to where I come from, because y'all, even my kids, they can't even handle the cold.
Well, I live in California.
You get a little breeze, and when I took you to Detroit,
I manage the cold. I just don't like the cold.
I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is, you have to find balance on the two things or ways of parenting, and you have to bring those two ways you guys are raised, two different ways, together and make it work in your household. Mm-hmm. And for me, like I said, he said I raised my kids right. I don't. I raise my kids the way that I feel like I want them to be successful individuals. I want them to be able to articulate their feelings. Because if somebody told me, or if I get a whooping or I'm in trouble, I can't explain myself or express myself, or something happened to me, all I do is I'm crying. How's that going to help anybody? I want to say, what is your issue? Why are you crying? What's the problem? What happened? Blah, 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 blah. When I hear my kids screaming and hollering and fighting each other, I said, now what happened?
My hand is up, teacher.
Oh, don't be smart. Oh, bop you in your mouth.
Exactly, not going to be black. Watch this. The solution is why don't we celebrate what each other bring to the table? And let's not fight each other. Bring to the table and celebrate what I bring to the table. And we're going to have well-balanced kids. It's not going to be one way or the other. It's going to be, you get the best of both worlds.
Okay.
That's what I submit to you.
That's your submission. I can agree with that. I think at the ultimate goal is to train up a child in a way that they should go. I think that's the ultimate goal. And for me, training up a child is more than
lashes.
Yeah, whoopings is to me. I want my kids to be able to come talk to me if they have issues, all that stuff. I want them to be able to feel comfortable talking to me. You're not getting in trouble for certain things. It's like for me, I would act out a lot or do a lot of things without permission. I would be extra smart. Like when I got a belly ring, I was 18, but at 15, I got my tongue pierced.
Oh.
But I didn't ask my mom, but it was like, I didn't ask you, so if you can't say no, I'm not really disobeying you, but
so
at the end, that's what I'm saying, I'm being extra smart.
Don't tell them what Faith told you.
No, first of all, no, she only. But the crazy thing is, she only said something to me because somebody at church said something, and then they, kind of ratted on me, and then my mom only got on me because it was like, you gonna let your kid get away with that?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna let your kid get away with that? And I'm like, I'm your child. Don't worry about, So then you only whooping me or I'm getting in trouble because you don't want people to think you're a bad parent. So to me, she was like, and that was the first time I saw my mom was like, Dominique, I love you. I would just want the best for you. I was like,
oh, she did the best she could.
Girl, you love me because my mama was not affectionate. She was like, I love you, girl. What? What's wrong with you? And then, but then when I turned 18, she was just like, I'm not gonna stop you. I got my third hole in my ear pierce.
It wasn't easy raising
I
you,
got these.
Dominique.
No, I'm just gonna say my mom was very. I had a great. You said it wasn't easy raising me.
No, it wasn't easy. Not what you're telling us your story.
Yes.
It was tough, and I really commend Faith.
Don't be a smart aleck. You being so sarcastic.
I'm just saying.
I'm sure it was a doozy raising your little butt.
No, it was a doozy raising Gerald, not Deitrick, because I could follow instructions.
Let me tell you, that's why you
just
act
got
the way
him a beating. So I'm gonna do the opposite of what he did.
I guarantee you needed just as many whoopings as Gerald. I would get in trouble. My mom said that mouth is smart, but my mama had a smart mouth. I learned those things. You can't be mad at your kids for things that you do. My kids got a smart mouth. Denver got a smart mouth. Destin got a smart mouth.
And they don't use it up against me. They use it up against her. That should tell you something.
But I can't get mad at something.
The mother always get the worst of the kids from the kids.
But they're going to take care of me when I get old. They're going to be looking at you. Where's your daddy? He over there in the corner somewhere.
Oh, no, I got 2 girls. They're going to have me covered. Trust me.
You pray at home. You better pray at home.
Don't tell boy I got to worry about. He'll leave me somewhere.
He been there with cobwebs. Where your daddy? Over there in the corner. Go dust them off. But I appreciate you having the conversation with me. I know it's difficult, but having a conversation with me because of the way that I
Very difficult today.
Why?
Keep going.
Why is it very difficult today?
It was wonderful, wonderful.
We're talking about parenting and how it affects marriages. It changed the dynamics of relationships. Doesn't it?
Listen. Y'all listen to me today. Don't listen to her today.
It changes the dynamics. Everybody needs to be a part. I am rooting for all fathers to be a part of their children's lives and raising them. Don't be a spectator while raising your children.
And when he comes in and
don't be a spectator.
Don't kick back at the things that he's bringing to the table.
Don't be a spectator raising your children. Don't allow your wife to raise the children by herself, and then you want to come in and be super dad or super cop or whoever it is.
But I just gave you the reason why you raising the kids by yourself, because every time a man come in to lead, you kicking back at him. So,
you lead from the beginning.
Whether the beginning or the end, whatever. If the husband and the father comes in and lay down his part and share in the leadership, don't override him. And let me also say this in my closing.
Because you done.
No, I'm just telling you, today is the day. In Pastor Deitrick's closing today, don't ever allow your kids to see y'all fussing over issues. You go behind closed doors and you get it right behind closed doors. Listen.
Get it together now.
Do not show division among the team, the leaders, that's the mother and the father, in front of the kids. Because the kids are taking notes and they're going to use that to manipulate you guys and turn you guys against each other. Right. Y'all go behind closed doors, get on one accord, get with one accord, hash it out, fuss it out, come to an agreement, and be together, united front when you lay down the law to your kids. That's the way I was raised. I've never seen my mother bucking up against my father in front of us. Never seen my father. No, they dealt with it behind closed doors, and when they came out, they were united. If I go to my mother and say, Mom, your daddy already told you. You ain't gonna hear nothing different than what I said. If you can manage that, you're on your way somewhere great.
In my closing, everybody has to be a willing participant in raising your child.
Right.
Willing participants on both ends. It's not just the woman's job to raise the kids. It's the man and the woman, because y'all made them together. It's not her responsibility only. I don't care how much he works. I've seen men who work shifts, 9 to 5s, come home and they participate in their kids' life, and they have healthy children. They see both of their parents working hard. It's not just the woman's job to raise the child. It is the daddy's job too, because then you have your kids will end up lacking something and looking for a father figure in the streets. They'll end up doing all kind of other stuff to get affection from men. I'm a product of that, where I didn't have a father in the home. My dad was not a willing participant raising us.
Right.
And there's different ways that I put myself out there trying to look for that or fill that void. It's important. And then when it comes to marriages, that the husband and the wife are on one accord. They are a team. And I think when you're getting married or thinking about getting married, you have to talk. We always say this. You always have to talk about these things. Raising your kids. How you want to raise your kids. How are we going to do this? I think a game plan is always good. Always talking about stuff. Always finding ways to have like a
communicate about it.
Yeah, communicate, but always have like a plan. Like, okay, I'm going to do the disciplining. I'm going to do this. And so everybody knows, okay, this is what we're doing. This is my responsibility. I don't like to call it roles, but my responsibility, because across the board, like with him being gone, when he's gone, I don't say I'm not mommy and daddy, but I'm the provider and I'm the nurturer. So I have to, it's dual roles when it comes to that. So I think if I'm going to ever have to leave out of town, he has to know how to be a provider and a nurturer. I
Right.
think you have to be able to do both.
Balance
So I
in
think
both.
across the board, don't allow your children to ruin your relationship,
Amen.
your marriage. Don't allow y'all arguing, your upbringing ruin your relationship.
Amen to that.
And don't allow your differences to ruin your marriage. Find a way to come together, be one, work it out, give the best you can at that moment as you grow into a better wife or a better husband.
Amen. Because you're forever growing and becoming
Yes.
who God has called you to be.
Yes. Let me end with a kiss.
Yeah.
See ya.
Ain't no
Go, go.